You know how in medicine, when you go to the doctor, what they usually do is just treat your symptoms without really trying to figure out or understand the underlying cause, right? We tend to focus on the symptoms and not the disease. And this construct is something I see everywhere. And what I mean is that when people try to come up with stuff, for example, they have in a company different roles, and they try to figure out what the responsibilities and activities of a certain role are. They just create lists. They think about what these people are doing or what they should be doing or whatever, and they just write down a list saying, this role has this responsibility and these activities. But if you ask me, you should really start with a framework of logic from which these conclusions can be derived. Meaning, the roles in your company are a symptom of the disease. Meaning, there is some underlying idea, some underlying framework, some underlying construct of logic that can dictate what the roles will be and what the responsibilities of the roles will be and what the activities of the roles will be. And what you should do is look at logic like it's an equation, like it's a math problem. And what you would like to do is identify the parts of the equation and determine how they fit together so that the answer is something that can be derived. And I think in our world, in business, in life, there are way too many lists that are just random lists of things, right? The 7 things you do to become successful or 8 ways you can become happy. They're just random things. Random ideas put together in a list as if it's a cohesive thing, but it's not. These lists, these descriptions, these activities, whatever you want to call it, should be a logical conclusion that follow from a logical framework. And that is something I could dive into more if you would like to. I could even give some examples, but this is the insight of the day. Most people that talk about logic talk about symptoms, about outcomes, and they are usually random. They're not born from a logical framework. They should follow. Right? So if you have a certain perspective on how your business should operate, and you have a certain idea about what departments there should be and why, and you start looking at the processes that are active within your company, then you should already get a pretty good idea what the different roles should be. And ideally, you would not just share the roles and the description and the activities with the people in your company, but you give them the underlying framework. And you can test if that framework is good if they can come up with the same lists of activities and responsibilities as you based on the underlying framework. And this is just an idea or example from business, but this goes everywhere, right? You should be wary of people offering you a list of things without explaining to you how that list is a logical outcome of an underlying perspective, idea, framework, mental map, construct, whatever. Focus on the disease, not the symptoms.